Now, North Carolina Democratic Representative Kathy Manning. She is the co-chair of the House Bipartisan Task Force for Combating Antisemitism. Congresswoman, thank you very much for joining us on this day after New Year's Day. I'm wondering if you can tell us what you make of this, whether this is fair to have the kind of pressure that resulted in this resignation today.
Well, the one thing I want to mention that hasn't been discussed by your panel is that Harvard has a problem with anti-Semitism. And the resignation of President Gay does not solve that problem. The question I have is, what is Harvard going to do moving forward to make sure that Jewish students are safe, that they get to participate in the full range of their educational opportunities at Harvard? That's the question that I'm afraid is getting lost in all of this.
So there is one left, as was alluded to by Elise Stefanik when she said two down, and that is MIT President Sally Kornbluth, who was there in front of that panel. Do you think that she deserves the kind of scrutiny? I mean, I'm going to assume that the Washington Free Beacon and other news outlets are combing through her dissertations as well at this point. But did she, in your view, was her answer betray a certain amount of anti-Semitism at these elite institutions?
I think there are problems at MIT, just as there were problems that were displayed at the hearing at Harvard, at Penn. I think both President McGill and President Gay had other issues that combined with their failure to take proper steps to address anti-Semitism caused them to resign. I have not looked at what other issues President Kornbluth is dealing with. I don't know if there are other things in her background, but the question I have is, what steps are these universities going to take moving forward? There is a need for decisive action and visionary leadership at all our campuses in dealing with these issues.
I'm going to read you a statement from Virginia Fox. She's the Republican from North Carolina who was the chairman of the House Education and Workforce Committee who held that hearing. She says, while President Gay's resignation is welcome news, the problems at Harvard are much larger than one leader, and the committee's oversight will continue. So is it right for the committee now to continue this investigation of anti-Semitism at Harvard?
I sit on that same committee. I know Chairman Fox. I do think it's appropriate for us to make sure that the issues of discrimination and anti-Semitism are being addressed on college campuses. And it goes beyond what's happening to students. And it's also important to look at the faculties. Are there diverse faculties that have a range of views that, in this particular instance, many of these protests have been about Israel. Are there faculty members who support the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state? If not, those schools have a problem.
All right, Congresswoman Manning, thank you very much for joining us on this day after New Year's Day. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.